Hello everybody, welcome to Hadoop Learning Center. Today we are going to discuss Hadoop multi-node installation. I believe we have already gone through my single node Hadoop installation video. In that video we have seen how to install Hadoop in a single node and we had used Hadoop 2.7.2 version. Here I have upgraded my Hadoop to 2.7.3 instead of 2.7.2. If you have already installed Hadoop 2.7.2 single node, then the process is exactly same. Nothing is going to change. So let's quickly get started. So today we are going to talk about Hadoop 2.7.3 multi-node installation. In this tutorial, what we will do is we will create a simple 3-node cluster, one master and 2 sleeps. So you can use the same concept for 3-node, 4-node, 10 nodes clusters. Now one would be your master and another 2 would be your sleeps. So we will call it a master node. We'll call this slave 1. We'll call this slave 2. Now I have prepared a very simple document of Hadoop multi-node installation. All you need to do is follow this document step by step properly and you will be able to configure multi-node installation very easily. Let's get started. Step number 1, create 3 nodes. Now if you remember, while installing Hadoop single node, I had told you to take a backup by zipping it. So this is the same backup. What we will do is we will extract it. So just click on this 7-zip, extract here. So it will take sweet 10 minutes of time to get extracted completely. Alright, so it got extracted. So what we'll do, we'll copy it, paste it, again copy this, again paste it. So what we have done is we have extracted the single node and we have pasted it 3 times altogether. Now we'll start renaming them. This is one node, this is another node, this is another node. I'll rename it to master. Similarly, I'll rename it to slave 1. Similarly, we'll rename it to slave 2. So we are done with step number 1. Copy the single node cluster setup folder 3 times and rename one folder as master and other 2 folders as slave 1 and slave 2. Next step, load those nodes into your VM. So we'll open our virtual machine and we'll start loading all of them. So let's load our VM. Okay, now you just go to file, open, D drive, multi-node setup, go to your master, click on this, it will get loaded. Similarly, again go to open, go to your slave 1 and just load this. Repeat the same step again, open, go to slave 2, load that. Okay, so once this is done, now you move into this place, click on this, say F2, rename it to master. This is your master. Similarly, rename it to slave 1. Similarly, rename it to slave 2. Now go to your master and edit your VM. Change your memory to, let's say, 4 GB. Processor, let's say just 2 processors. Say OK. Similarly, go and make changes in slave 1 and slave 2 as well. Alright, so we have done those changes. 4 GB 2 processors, 4 GB 2 processors. So my current system configuration is 16 GB RAM and 8 processors. That's the reason I assigned 4 GBs to all these 3 VMs and 2 processor each to these 3 VMs. Alright, so step number 2, load the masters slave 1 and slave 2 and make sure that you change your processor and RAM as per your system configuration. Next, let's launch our VM one by one. Go to master, click on power on. Whenever asked for, choose I copied it. Okay, don't choose I moved it, I copied it. Again, say yes whenever asked. Go to slave, power on this also. Say I copied. Yes. Go to slave 2, say power on. I copied. Yes. Now let's wait for some time till it gets loaded properly. Alright, so let's log into all the systems. The password is Hadoop as per our single node installation. Again, log into slave, say Hadoop, say Hadoop. Alright, let's move to the next point. The next point says check if the nodes are reachable or not. Now we have started 3 virtual machines, 3 Linux boxes. Now we have to check whether each of them are able to ping the other 2 or not. Okay, for that what we will do, first we will try to find out the IP address of all these 3 systems. So press Ctrl Alt and T to launch the terminal. Everywhere Alt Ctrl T, again Alt Ctrl T. Okay, so once you have your terminal, type ifconfig, note down the IP address. The IP address is 192.168.220.185. so this was the master, 192.168.220.185. Similarly, go and find out the IP address of the other 2 systems. Here you say ifconfig, so it is 186. Here you say ifconfig, it is 187. So the IP addresses would be assigned in a serial fashion. So if you have 185, then the other 2 will have 186, 187, 188 and so on. Alright, so we got to know the IP addresses of all these 3 systems. So master has 185 and now the slave one has 192.168.220.186. Similarly, the slave 2 has 192.168.220.187. Now what we will do is we will try to ping each other. So we will log into master. From the master we will try to see if we are able to call this 186 system or not, okay, as well as 187 or not. And then I'll just say ping 192.168.220.186. this is my master which has IP address 185, and from here we are trying to ping the slave one. Okay, so hit enter. So you should get this kind of response. Okay, so if it is not reachable, then it would show you something like this. It's trying to ping. It'll return you an error like this because we don't have 189, right? So we have pinged 186, that is your slave one. Similarly, you ping 187. Okay, again you are getting the successful response. All right, now you go back to your slave. Okay, so this slave has the IP address 186. I'll ping 185, that is my master. Okay, similarly I'll ping 187. 186 is slave 1, so I'm pinging slave 2 now. Done. Press Ctrl C to come out of this. Okay, next similarly we'll go to this place, slave 2, and from here we'll try to ping 185, that is my master. All right, similarly we'll ping 186, that is the slave 1. Ctrl C. Okay, so we have seen the master was successfully able to ping slave 1 as well as slave 2. Similarly, the slave 1 was successfully able to ping master and slave 2 and vice versa. Let's move to the next. So this document is assuming the master IP address was 180, 181 and 182. So if the master IP address is changing, you have to make the changes accordingly, right? Alright, so let's move down. Next, now we will try to change the host name of all the three systems. Currently, the host name of this box is Ubuntu. Okay, similarly the host name of all these machines are Ubuntu. So what we will try to do is we will try to assign a unique name to all of them. Okay, for that what you need to do, you just say sudo vim etc hostname, password is Hadoop, go back to this place, again do the same thing, Hadoop, Control L to clear the screen, Hadoop. Okay, now I'll go back to my master. You change this, press I to come into insert mode and then you can delete. Okay, now write down master. This is a master box. _WQ to save and quit. Again go back to this place, I insert mode, delete them, you call it slave 1, _WQ, go to slave 2, press I, slave 2, _WQ, done. So we have changed the host name of all these three systems and now they will be called as master, slave 1 and slave 2. Moving back to the next, now we will update our host file and we'll configure all the IP addresses. Okay, so just now we found that the IP address of master was 185, slave was 186 and slave 2 was 187. So what you do, you make the changes here. 85 is the master, 86 is your slave 1 and 87 is your slave 2. First let's copy this, copy, Control L, paste. Similarly you go back here, paste, master. Now first thing first, delete this line which contains this Ubuntu. You can press DD to delete it and then press I to come into insert mode and you go back to the document, copy this 3, copy and just right click and say paste. Okay, 85, 86, 87. Similarly go back to slave 1, go down, say DD to delete this line, press I, right click and say paste, escape, :WQ. Similarly go to slave 2, press DD to delete the line, press I to come into insert mode and then right click and say paste, escape, :WQ. So we are done in all these three places, escape, :WQ. Now once this is done, you have to reboot your VMs. So what we'll do, we'll reboot it. Okay, so you can say reboot and it will reboot for you. Similarly you go back to slave 1, okay, and then you can reboot it this way also. Click on this, say shutdown and then say restart. Again go back to your slave 2, click on this, say shutdown and say restart. Now let's wait for some time till it gets rebooted successfully. Okay, so let's again say Hadoop, Hadoop, Hadoop. Alright, let's move to the next point. Now once done, you need to confirm the host name of all the three nodes. '𝑠o, 'launch your terminal, Okay, now see, earlier it was showing Ubuntu, now it is showing you master. Similarly here it was showing Ubuntu, now it is showing slave 1. Similarly here it is showing you slave 2. So whatever we have configured is applied successfully. Now the other way to confirm your hostname would be you just type hostname and it should give you master, here slave 1 and here slave 2. Okay, done. So let's move to the next step. Now we will try to ping each of this system by using the host name. Okay, earlier we used to ping by using IP address, but now we will try to ping all this system by using the name. So this is my master. Now what I'll do, I'll say ping slave 1. It is responding, control C. Again ping slave 2. It is responding, control C, control L to clear. Again go to your slave. Now from this slave you start pinging the other two systems. Ping master, okay, ping slave 2. Okay, similarly go to your slave 2 and from here also you say ping master. Again you say ping slave 1. Done. Okay, so we were able to ping all these three systems, right, by using the name instead of IP address. Next, okay, so we'll try to test the SSH connectivity. That means from one system you should be able to connect to other system without using password. Okay, so for that what you will do, you are in the master. First you say SSH master itself. It will ask you whether you want to continue or not. Say yes, you are connected to the master. Okay, say exit. Alright, now we'll do SSH slave 1. Say yes. Now if you see, it has been connected to slave 1 system. If you create a folder, the folder will be created in your slave, not in your master now. Okay, say exit. Alright, I'm back to my master. Again I'll say SSH slave 2. Say yes, control L. Now I'm connected to slave 2. Say exit. Okay, don't forget to exit. At the end of the day you should be back to your master. Similarly go to your slave. First thing what you do, you say SSH slave 1 itself. Say yes. Done. Say exit. Now you say SSH master. Yes. Okay, say exit. Again SSH slave 2. Yes, and say exit. Now we are back to slave 1. Alright, again here say SSH slave 2 first. Yes, done. Say exit. Now you say SSH master. Yes, exit. Again you say SSH slave 1. Yes, exit, control L. Now in this process, if it asks you to enter the password in any place, that means you have done seriously some mistake. Please revisit the installation, the single node installation guide, and try to figure it out. Alright, let's move to the next point now. So once this is done, we'll start making the configuration changes. Okay, the first step is update your core-site.xml in all the systems, master as well as the slaves. So copy this, right click and say paste, enter. Password is Hadoop. Again go back to slave 1, say paste, enter. Same password. Go to slave 2, paste, enter. Same password. Okay, coming back to master, come down. Now this first property is really not needed here, so you can delete it. So to delete, you keep on pressing D 2 times to delete one single line. So DD, 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 DD got deleted. Now we need to change this localhost to master to point to the master. Okay, so I'll just say I to come to insert mode, then delete this by pressing backspace and just say master, escape:\wq. Similarly, let's do the same thing in all the remaining systems also. So delete them, go to this place, I insert mode and say master, escape:\wq. Similarly, go to this place, dd values, I insert mode, master, escape:\wq. Done. Let's go back to the document again. So step number 10 is over. Step number 11, update your hdfs-site.xml, and you need to do this again in all the nodes, master as well as slave nodes. So copy this. This is my master. Paste. Go back to slave. Paste. Go back to another slave. Paste. Okay. Now here what we will do is we will just change this replication to 2 or 3, whatever you want. Okay. So since we have 2 node cluster, you can say the replication factor is 2. Insert 2. Now this is your master node, and in the master you will have the name node, you will not have the data node. Okay, so go and delete these lines, because your master node will always have the name node, they will not have the data node. The master is not going to store any data, right? So you need to delete them. Escape:\wq. Similarly, I'll go back to slave 1. I'll go down. Now in the slave node, you will have the data node. Okay, it will store the data, but it will not have the name node. So you need to delete this entry from all the slaves. You have deleted this entry from your master, but you will delete the name node entry from all your slaves. So just go a little up and press DD. Done, deleted. And then you just go to this value, insert I to escape:\wq. Similarly, go to slave 2, go down, you need to delete the name node, so press DD and press I, and then you say to escape:\wq. Okay, so this is also done. Let's move to the next point now. Step number 12, edit your yarn-site.xml and make these changes in all master and slaves. So let's make this change also. Copy your yarn-site.xml, go to your master, Control L, paste, enter, Control L, paste, enter, paste, Control L, enter. Let's go to master now and just copy these properties. These are needed to support the cluster. Go down, okay, press I and right click and say paste. Escape:\wq. Again go back to this place, go down, press I, enter, escape:\wq. Again go down, insert, enter, paste, escape:\wq. Done. Let's move forward. Step number 12 is over. Next, now you update your mapred-site.xml. Copy this, say paste, enter, go to your slave, paste, enter, go to your slaves, paste, enter, go to your master back. Okay, now this job history pointed to your master. Now insert master escape colon WQ. Again go down, insert master escape colon WQ. Go down, insert master escape colon WQ. Alright, so this job history is purely optional. They are really not needed, but few components like pig looks for job history while executing. Okay, so that's the reason you need to have this whenever you are working with some other components. Alright, so we are done with step number 13. Let's move to step number 14. Now this is a master only configuration, and you have to do this only in the master. Okay, so what we will do, we will edit a file called slaves, where we will configure all the hosts which will act as a slave. So copy this and go to your master only, paste, insert mode, delete this, say slave 1, enter, say slave 2, escape colon WQ. Okay, similarly you will do the same changes in your master's file, enter, and now you'll say insert master. So these two files would be used by your Hadoop to understand on which system master daemon should get started and in which system your slave node should get started. Okay, step number 14 is over. Step number 15. Now in the master node, all you need to do is delete your name node directory and recreate the name node directory with appropriate permission. Okay, so I'll copy them and I'll execute this only in master. This is my master node, say paste, done. Similarly, in the slave nodes, I need to delete this data node folder and recreate it with appropriate permission. So we need to execute these commands in all our slave nodes. So go to your slave 1, say paste, go to your slave 2, say paste. Alright, done. Next, now we need to format our name node. So copy this command, SDFS name node format, and execute this in your master computer. So say paste. Alright, so if you see, it has successfully formatted our name node. Next step, step number 18. Now we can start our services. Okay, so you can say start dfs.sh, start yarn.sh separately, or you can use AND operator and then start both of them all together. Otherwise you can also say start -all.sh. They are deprecated, but still you can use them. Okay, so let's start our daemons. Control L, say paste, enter, and you'll execute this command only in your master. Okay, and then the master will internally log into slave 1 and slave 2 by using that SSH, and it will also start the daemons in your slave nodes. Alright, done. Now what you do, you just say JPS, okay, and then you will see two nodes getting started, name node and secondary name node in your master. Again go to your slave nodes, you say JPS also here, you will see data node getting started. Again you say JPS here, you will see data node getting started. So the command which we executed just now, start dfs.sh, it starts only 2 daemons in your master and only 1 daemon in your slaves. Okay. Similarly, now you say start yarn.sh. Okay, done. Now you say JPS. Okay, now if you see, it has started resource managers, and you say JPS, it has started node manager. Okay, so all together, if we just look into our daemons, okay, now in your master node you should have name node and secondary name node that gets started by start dfs.sh, and resource manager gets started by start yarn.sh. In all your slave nodes you will have data node which got started because of start dfs.sh and node manager because of start yarn.sh. So once you execute the start dfs and start yarn.sh, check JPS, do JPS on master. You should have at least these 3 services. Check your slave nodes, you should have at least these 2 services. Now next step, let's try to confirm whether our multi-node installation is successful or not. So click on your browser. Okay, now here you say master 8088. Alright, now this is your cluster information, and if you see, you have active nodes equal to 2. So 2 active nodes, 2 slave nodes. Okay, if you want to get more information about those nodes, click on this node, and then you will be able to see there are 2 systems, there are 2 nodes, one is your slave 1 and another one is your slave 2. This is one way to confirm that your multi-node setup was successful. Okay, the other way to confirm would be, you just go to master 50070. Alright, now just scroll down a bit and you should see the live nodes are 2. You can click on these live nodes and then you will be able to see your data nodes. Okay, so slave 1 and slave 2 together with their IP addresses and so on. The other way to confirm the same would be, you just execute this command from your master. So go to your master, say paste DFS admin report. Alright, now if you just check the report here, it says the live data nodes are 2 and these are the details of the 2 nodes, slave 2 information and slave 1 information. Okay, now that's all about your Hadoop multi-node installation. It was pretty simple, right? Now what to do if you don't get this output? Okay, so there might be a lot of reasons. Few reasons could be because you have made some mistake somewhere. So in case you feel that you might have done some mistake, the best way to figure it out is check your logs. Okay, so what you do is you just go to /user local Hadoop logs. Okay, now here you have a lot of log files that got generated. Now for example, let's assume that you have a problem in your data node. Your data node did not get start, right, in your slaves. So what you can do is go to your slave computer and look for the data node. Okay, now let's say your name node is not running. So the name node runs on your master, right? So you should go to your master, go to this log location and check this file. Okay, check the content of this file to see if there is any problem. Similarly, if your data node is not working, go to your slave, any slave, and then just try to figure it out. JPS, I'll do JPS. Let's say the data node is not running. Okay, let's say you did not get this output. So what you do, you say cd/user local Hadoop logs ls. Now here you should go and check your data node. So you'll check the data node, this file. Okay, Hadoop SD user data node slave1.log. See the content of this file and you should be able to figure it out what is the problem. Okay, so how do you see that? Just copy this Control L. Now you can say sudo vim, not needed, just say more because you are not going to edit the file. Say paste, enter. Okay, now this is the output. This is the output, and then you should be able to see some exception if there is any problem. Alright, so that's all for today. I hope you have liked my videos. In case you have liked it, please upvote, subscribe, and see you in the next series. Thank you all. This is Suraj from Hadoop Learning Center. Bye bye.